the mole. Rounding a bend on the trail down Neocani Mountain, a mole and I startle each other. Instantly, I kick it, startling myself twice to tell the whole truth. A sharp chirp on the second kick sticks like a burr, more tenacious than excuses, than the view from the summit, that kick before thinking. It's the encounter with that sort of feral nature in us all. And then I'm going to end the ones from the Eddy Fence with this little poem entitled Riparian Zone Restoration Plan. I've had the privilege of being able to actually establish one of those. My husband did most of the work actually on some property that we own that we moved from agricultural into wildlife habitat and wetlands restoration, and then we did some oak savanna restoration. And when we were looking at the catalogs for the various things that we could plant for a wetlands restoration, I found myself wanting to plant the things that sort of just sounded the most poetic. You know, I didn't really know what they were, but the whole idea of planting an ash swale, just that tasted so good that I had to have one, so we did. So this is a little poem about that. I want to plant an ash swale. Its words say water sloshing around in a pail, a splash, a swath in the pasture, soaking the silty loam where trees will rise as whispers. So I love having one because I can say that all the time. There's an ash swale. So the next poem I will read is a newer poem, and it is actually the broadside poem. And why is it not marked here? Oh, there it is. This poem and the next part of the sequence is really from a group of poems that I have collectively entitled Liminals, and they really kind of begin in language and let language sort of be the, I guess I would say, vehicle of a kind of enchantment and entry into the sensory world through the sensory activity of language. So there's a way in which this poem doesn't make the kind of narrative sense that the earlier poems did, nor do the others in the sequence. You sort of have to listen to them differently, but hopefully you can just, in the same way, let language take you into the dream of the poem. So this is liminal number 8. So many shadows blocked the way. The plume was a blank flame where the day's pain waited under shame's pavement. Silver sides turned their shiny bellies up from silt. She was devastated by loss, meant that all the green leaves dropped from the tree at once. So many shadows lay, the blocked way wore a metallic smell, tinny and something else like solvents surfacing in a stream. The silver sides' bellies were the color of blame, yellow-gray with a greasy sheen. Oh, the bloody bodies, the hurt herds on the hill, our own cells, little barrels, sealing the toxins in, some of them leaking. Where's Carter? Carter, where am I for 5? Okay. Skip a couple here. Okay, a couple more from this liminal series. They're short, and this is liminal number 10. A clay slope slowly dissolves, an old mine yawns, a main breaks, a crack slides down a wall, loose plaster falls, a ball hurtles through glass, a grass field turns orange from 2,4-D, a bee dies from its mites, then the whole hive. Liminal number 11, a little more upbeat. The maple leaves' lives have commenced as loose claws, In a field, green film fingers the walls of a single wide. Skunk cabbage unfurls through the swale's fetid stew, and slow flies give way to faster ones. And yet a little bit more upbeat. This is a poem entitled, thought I'd read a spring poem, Springs Turned noisy with birds and frogs, logs hauled off slopes, leaves squeezing out of the tips of stems, earthworms, soft scrape, squirming over wet gravel, with ferns unfurling, wood violets, grass straining up through soil, soil itself bubbling, saturated and gaseous. And listen how even the sough of the breeze is shifting now, its song also reshaped by the ways bud break subtly complicates space. Another thing that I feel like poetry has done in my life is that it will sort of create cause some kind of a revelation or a moment of illumination, and the way that lightning flashes and then it takes a while for the thunder to come. I often feel as though I might write a poem and then really not spend the next many years sort of living my way into understanding what it revealed to me. And I tend to be fairly stoic by nature, and so this poem, Joy, has been a continuing process of learning for me, and it's also a double meaning kind of poem. So, Joy. I was so hungry, and my hunger longed for the bite-sized joy in my pocket, its luscious crush in my teeth, almond soul from the brown glaze, sweetly releasing. But my plans, to hike the length of the spit, then have my joy, when I've earned it. But my joy wouldn't let me loose from the lot unpartaken, whispered my hunger, have it now, let it sustain you. Joy's not the end, joy's the way. Thank you very much.